We're here to finish the story, catching up with Zoe after she is calcified in the swamp by Evelyn for helping Ethan and Mia escape. Now that Evelyn is dead, Zoe is released, but Homegirl is still not in great shape. Her hair has gone gray and she appears to be covered in weird crystals. Two Umbrella mercenaries are investigating her when an old man comes across them. The old man is really adamant about helping Zoe, telling the soldiers that she is his niece. We're going full telenovela on this story, revealing that this is Daddy Jack's previously unmentioned estranged brother Joe, who's back now to help his kinfolk in their time of need. It seems that the Bakers have a new de facto daddy. After a quick round of knockout punches, Joe takes Zoe and just one of the two soldiers back to his hut. I guess he said screw the other guy, he can fend for himself in a swamp full of creepy crawlies. Zoe is unconscious and really seems to be going through it. The soldier boy that we did save says that they were going to help Zoe before Joe jumped them, letting him know that there is a cure that can be used to save her in a shack nearby. Now, Ethan was a regular guy who was thrown into crazy circumstances and had to fight to survive. Chet Redfield was a trained bioweapon fighting expert who was carrying out mission objectives with the type of precision that can only come from experience. But Joe? Old Joe Baker? He's just a simple country dude who makes his home in the swamp and lives off the land. He is a fucking madman. Joe likes to take matters into his own hands, literally. He will go toe-to-toe with any moldy boy with nothing but his bare fists and his massive swangin' cojones. And if the moldy boy does somehow survive his onslaught and Joe does catch a stray, what does he do to heal? He eats a fucking grub. Timon and Pumbaa type beat. Joe is him. He has been him. He will continue to be him.
Die, motherfucker.
After taking down a few more molded, we come to a door. Now, does Joe need to search around to find a key, maybe solve a puzzle? Fuck no. Joe has the only solution he needs right here. Remember, kids, when life gives you lemons, the best solution is to punch the ever-loving shit out of said lemons. We find the shack that the Umbrella soldier mentioned. Searching it, we find another soldier who looks like he really needs to work on his skincare routine. Maybe find a good moisturizer. Oh, and his eyes, nose, and lips are gone. That too. He starts leaking black fluid from his face holes, so we snag the cure and hit the fucking bricks. We punch and stomp our way out of the house, overcoming the ambush like it's just another day in the neighborhood. In the distance, a tree falls over. It's a little weird, but we don't have too long to contemplate it as we return to our house and see the roof! The roof! The roof is on fire! We rush inside and see that Zoe is convulsing. We administer the cure, but it does not seem that Zoe's condition is improving too much. Our hog-tied homie lets us know that the syringe was likely not full, and that a full dose will be required to clear up the crystalline craziness that is happening to our niece. There is another supply at the Umbrella base, but before we can find out where that is, dude gets dragged through the goddamn wall. Rude of him to try and split like that. Oh shit, I guess he really did split. We return to Zoe and pick her up before being attacked by some new goopy mold monster. We escape out the back as our shack burns down, getting into a waiting motorboat. As we pull away, the new swampy boy can be seen watching us leave, and he's not too happy to see us go. We come across a large barricade that Joe doesn't seem to recognize, most likely used for containment. Fat lot of good it's doing, as there are molded everywhere outside of the quarantine zone, but hey, it's the thought that counts, I guess. There's some lights on in the distance, and we decide that this is as good a place as any to start our search for the rest of the cure. There seems to be gators in that there swamp, so we quickly exit the water and drop Zoe off at a conveniently placed couch before continuing on. Nearby, we see that a camp has been overrun by the molded. We do our best solid snake impression and try to take out as many as we can without raising the attention of the rest of the moldy mob. We even use a makeshift spear to take one out. Well, we tried. After using Joe's unique brand of lockpicking again, we drop down into a lab which holds a note stating that Umbrella has moved the cure manufacturing station to a paddle boat. Whoopsie, I guess we have to keep chasing the MacGuffin all over the swamp. Continuing on, we run into that big fucker from earlier. We feed him a few knuckle sandwiches, and I'll admit, he puts up a good fight. But our haymakers eventually knock Big Nasty out for the count. We make our way through another locked door before being stopped by the big boy again. We lay him out once again and jump down off the dock, only to turn back around and see him stand up and walk off into the night. This guy just doesn't know when to quit. We make our way through some gator-infested water, introducing them to our throwing spears as we go, before climbing up a ladder onto what remains of the paddle boat. We head below deck, slowly making our way through the shambling moldy boys. After twisting and sneaking around the darkened corridors, we make our way over to a computer that is hooked up to some fancy-looking medical equipment. We try to create the cure, but the system seems to be having a problem filling the syringe we need. It seems the computer is in need of some TLC, so Joe shows it how they troubleshoot technological issues in the swamp. Some good old kinetic adjustments straighten out our issues, and finally, we have the cure. Now we can just run back to... Oh. Big Davy Jones-ass looking fucker is back again, and picks us up in a way which reminds me of that time in 1998 when The Undertaker threw mankind off Hell in a Cell and plummeted 16 feet through an announcer's table. The big boy is ready to rumble, so it seems the match is on. Joe shows off why he's the best protagonist ever, not only going mano-a-mano with this sloppy bastard, but also enduring what I am sure is the worst case of literal swamp ass in the history of the world, just to powerbomb the dude for style points. What a cool son of a bitch. Joe eventually decides that while this has been fun, we have other things that we need to be doing. He apologizes for the twist in our plans, and suggests that the swamp thing should head out. With the cure safely secured in our rugged but gentle hands, we return to our niece. Right as we are about to give her the meds, the big fucker returns and yoinks Zoe right out from under us. This guy is getting on my nerves. I mean, he just keeps on coming. He kind of reminds me of, never mind. We give chase in a boat, and we see that the swampy boy has taken Zoe into the large barricaded quarantine area. In Joe's own words, this whole place has gone to hell, and you can really see that the E-type mutamycete is still wreaking havoc on the area even after Evelyn's death. We come across an old house and travel underneath before another gator comes out to... Oh, it's just a toy. What a funny... Oh, fuck! After making our way through areas absolutely crawling with moldy boys, gators, jumpy boys, all of it, we come to a spooky graveyard. A fat molded decides to try and get the jump on us with his friends, but we beat the brakes off of him after a little bit of a struggle. Climbing up that hill, we come across an abandoned church. Inside, we find Zoe in front of a weird, mutilated animal sculpture, and Joe says the funniest line in the game.
It's a goddamn sacrilege.
Before we can save our niece, the sloppy Swamp King jumps us again. You know, I am getting really tired of him, continuously popping up, ruining our plans, and just coming back over and over again. I mean, who does he think he is, Jack Baker?
Jack? What the fuck?
That's right, kids. Daddy is back once again. He knocks our lights out before stuffing us into a coffin, which he pushes into the swamp. This isn't looking good for our boy Joe, as the coffin takes on water. Surely our hero will punch his way out of his confines, or... Oh, I guess not. Sometime later, we wash up on a shoreline where a ton of umbrella boats are docked. A nearby radio lets us know that things aren't going so well for the PMC soldiers back at the Baker house, as it seems that they are under attack by our boy Jack. Time to finish this. We head down the path before a whole gang of goopy goons spawns in behind us. Time to make like a tree and get the fuck out of Dodge. We come to a locked door, but this one is blocked by steel, Punching's natural enemy. Joe is strong, but not that strong, so we head off a side path and find an umbrella container abandoned in the woods. They must have left it behind knowing we would need it, and they must have known our boy Joe doesn't use guns because inside we find a fucking bionic gauntlet. With this new tech, we can charge up our fists like a swamp-dwelling Saitama on steroids, taking out basic moldy boys in one punch. You have got to love the Resident Evil tradition of giving you absolutely bonkers end-game weapons. We are back at the old house, where Ethan encountered Marguerite in the main game, and our new toy helps us make quick work of the waves of molded that are trying to slow us down. We are a goddamn machine with this thing. We're even able to take down a fat molded with ease, which is a nice change of pace from our long grudge match in the graveyard. Really gives you that sense of pride and accomplishment, showing your character's growth over time, you know? Game design. Magic. Completing our victory lap of the Baker property, we return to the main house. We see that an umbrella camp has been set up, and we also see that said camp has been absolutely wrecked. Heading into the house, we see Zoe propped up in the main hall. Jack is back, though, and he flips the table, absolutely yeeting his daughter across the room. The battle is on. Brother versus brother. Head to head. Face to ugly face. Since we have the power gauntlet on our side, Jack decides to use some of his mold powers to try and even the odds. Every time we are able to stagger him, we feed Daddy a fully charged fistful of our power. He doesn't seem to enjoy that too much.
You remember me, right? You remember the time I broke your nose when we were kids? You remember when I clotheslined you into the swamp?
I appreciate the fact that Joe is absolutely shit-talking his brother throughout the entire fight. We've had characters do one-off quips before, but Joe is absolutely relentless with his taunting. In a scene that mirrors Jack welcoming Ethan to the family, Joe tells him that this is farewell from the family, before punching him so hard that his goddamn eyeball flies out of his head. Daddy calcifies after getting our cybernetic chrome to his dome, and we rush over to where Zoe was launched. We administer the cure, and Zoe wakes up from her crystalline coma. Suddenly, some mercs rush into the room, weapons drawn. Leading them is none other than Chet Redfield. He tells his homies to stand down, and lets Zoe know that they have been looking for her to help. Sometime later, an umbrella doctor lets a significantly less crystallized Zoe know that she will be okay. Maybe physically she will be, but living with her own family members being twisted and trying to hunt her down for years has done some serious psychic damage. Joe is adamant that even though they were hella toxic, they were still her family and loved her deep down. Not sure how he knows that, but if he can believe it, that's the important part. I guess he also knew that that was his brother deep down when he launched his eyeball into the stratosphere with a supercharged mecha fist, but hey, who am I to judge? Chet is letting someone know that Zoe survived, and then passes her the phone. Ethan lets her know that he and Mia made it, and he kept his promise to get her help. Finally, it seems that everyone gets their happy ending, and that the nightmare is over. Yeah, at least until Resident Evil 8. Greetings everyone, House here. Hey, we did it. We completed Resident Evil 7, the Not a Hero DLC, as well as the End of Zoe DLC. If you watched my Not a Hero video, you know that while I was obsessed with Resident Evil 7, I never played any of the DLCs, so this was my first experience with End of Zoe. And I have to say, I'm really glad I took the time to go back and replay these DLCs years after they came out. Resident Evil 7 is still one of my top games of all time. So the fact that I got to experience more from that in different varieties was really rewarding. I appreciate that Not a Hero gives you that kind of variation on gameplay where you're an elite super soldier with all these different weapons and gadgets to play around with. And then Zoe flips that on its head. I never would have thought to set a first-person brawler in the Resident Evil universe, but damn if it didn't work, and I really enjoyed it. This is probably my favorite DLC. Joe Baker, while a completely random left field character, was very entertaining to me. His little quips throughout the story, and just the fact that he gets in and gets shit done. It's hard to hate on that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the journey with me. If you did, I have a couple of quick asks for you. If you made it this far, if you watched all 3 parts, kudos to you. You get the completion bonus for that. The vast majority of people who watch my videos are not subscribed. If you did enjoy and you want to see more videos like this in the future, please do the YouTube things. Be sure to subscribe, like or dislike the video if you liked it or disliked it. Give me some feedback on it. This helps to appease the algorithm monsters and helps get the video out there so that we can have more people involved and have some great conversations in the comments below. I also do want to let you know that the intro and outro music for this video, as well as some other songs, are available to you. They are copyright free, DMCA free, and will remain that way. And they are available to you at no extra cost. Go ahead and check out the pinned comment on this video for more information on that. Lastly, I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me and just giving me some of your time. I really appreciate it. I hope that you found these videos entertaining, maybe had a laugh or two. For the next one, I have already started work on it. We are going to be taking a break away from the Resident Evil franchise. Don't worry, we will be coming back. It's one of my favorite franchises. But the next video is going to be a little bit different. If you do have some suggestions for other games you'd like to see in this style, please let me know in the comments below. I would really appreciate that feedback. But I'm going to go and continue work on that new video. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, a good night, and good luck.